So I'm really glad to meet all of yours in our a session of seminars of our ILSIR laboratory. So today Fatima will present her investigation, I suppose, and we will show some, I suppose, presentation, or you will talk.
Yes, I will share I will try to share my presentation right now if I can.
Okay. So yeah, Sergey Gennadьевич, do you want to say something? Please turn your mic.
Yes. No, I will say later after Fatima's presentation, maybe make some comments or questions to her.
Okay. So Fatima,
yes, I'm trying to find the
try to share your screen.
Okay, so thank you so much, first of all, for all the organizers for having me. It's usually a great pleasure to participate in events with colleagues, dear colleagues, and or dear friends from Russia in Moscow. And in other states in Russia, in fact. The title of my regulation and ethics. Artificial intelligence, in fact, ensures new solutions to global issues, ranging from food security to health services, education, but also it brings new topics to the table of negotiations in international society. We have now several new phenomena, such, for example, digital diplomacy or artificial intelligence diplomacy. We have the use of artificial intelligence during negotiations or as a tool for conflict resolutions, etc. So, but however, artificial intelligence imposes also new challenges, and these challenges could be also in another level, could be also risks and threats to the international security and international psychological security, considering the malicious use of artificial intelligence. So, first of all, we need to try to questioning artificial intelligence. What do we mean by artificial intelligence? Considering that there is no common definition in international society and inside our society of these new tools. There is no common definition even for intelligence itself. And also, we will try during this, I will try during this presentation also to question regulation. Why we need regulation, AI regulation, and when we should have AI regulation, and how we should regulate AI. If we have a good experience, what are these experiences? And I will try also to question ethics of artificial intelligence. What do we mean by intelligence? So during this presentation, I will try to explain these three key points: AI, law or regulation, and ethics. The starting points, of course, is the definition of artificial intelligence. What do we mean by artificial intelligence? As I said before, we have a lot of definitions, and we don't have a common understanding or a common definition related to this concept or notion. But we have some connecting points between all the definitions we have. First of all, artificial intelligence is, we mean by artificial intelligence systems that think like humans or act like humans, systems that are thinking rationally or could act rationally. This is the common points of the 4 common points between all the definitions we have. So the starting point, of course, is this question made by Alan Turing: can machine think? Inspired by the philosopher René Descartes. I doubt, therefore I think. Therefore I exist or I am. And during all the process between the learning process between artificial intelligence and human intelligence, we have also some key differences. The most important difference is that human beings are learning from human experiences, but artificial intelligence, large machine models are learning from what? Are learning from description of human experiences. And this gives us some problems. For example, if you consider, for example, ChatGPT, sometimes we have different response to the same question. Because what? Because human beings are learning from human experiences, but machines are learning from what? Are learning from a description of human experiences. We have this AI evolution, and we have different steps in this evolution process, starting from 1914, when Alan Turing asked this famous question: can computing machine simulate human thinking? Can machine think? Italy, and this had an important evolution. We have another date, 1956, when the Dartmouth workshop developed machines that could imitate human intelligence. And we have another date, 1986, with the appearance of machine learning methods. 2017, with the appearance of language modeling and pre-trained language models such as GPT-3. And we have also in 2019, we have the introduction of large-scale language model like GPT-2 and GPT-3. In 2023, we have GPT-4, the appearance of GPT-4, and working and the new projects focusing on GPT-5 and GPT-6. During this process, artificial intelligence was trying to learn from brain and was inspired by brain. That's why we neuroscientists and engineers are also focusing on this roadmap of brain-inspired self-consciousness. During this process started especially from here. We have other dates if you want. 2016, when projects give or the result of all these works made by experts was the self-recognition, especially using this what we call mirror test, and the mirror test is one of the golden rules used by neuroscientists to prove that human or machine can recognize itself. So and that's why now also engineers and neuroscientists working together in projects with this multidisciplinary approach are thinking now also on this revolution, on this impact of artificial intelligence, also on science, on neuroscience. It was inspired by human brain, but artificial intelligence is now creating a revolution also in neuroscience, because, for example, this rule we call mirror test should be revised and should be rethinked and updated with the evolution imposed by artificial intelligence. From self-recognition to temporally extended self, having a life story and points of view in 2023 with several innovations like ChatGPT and other AI systems. In 2005, the projects launched in 2023 and even before could have, as a result of conceptual self-motivation and values, personal goals, these robots and these AI systems could have this conceptual self, from self-recognition to temporally extended self, having a life story, point of view, and in 2025, they could have, these machines could have also conceptual and motivation, conceptual self, which means also motivation and values and personal goals. And in 2027, experts think that the evolution and the results of all these open projects could be the private self knowing, which means that machines will know that you have an inner life, having an idea who you are, and distinguishing yourself from others, distinguishing machines learning from human, for example, and distinguishing machines from other machines. In 2025, the use of theory of mind, which means seeing others as agent like you, like human, and also considering the interactions between machines themselves. In 2023, these machines could have empathy for others. And I think that this risks, as you know, a lot of experts now, and big tech also, and the leader of this big technology companies are speaking now about the risks of artificial intelligence. Why? Because artificial intelligence now and these machines have self-recognition, have this temporally extended self, and they have this conceptual self, motivation and values, personal goals, etc. Some of them now we have few even if this is a result which we could have normally in 2005, but a few days ago I received an information saying that one small company, they already have a system which has this conceptual self, motivation and values, personal goals, etc. They could have in 2025-27 this private self, but before machine learning machines, before AI systems have this empathy for others, thinking about others, respect others, protect others, we cannot be safe. So this is this period from 2023 until 2013. We are in a transition period, but with a high level of risks. Why? Because we need that machines have this empathy for others, think about others, especially human, and protect human, consider human, respect human, etc. Before this, we are in this transition period and with the high level of risk. Like if we give something luxurious to a kid or to someone who crazy person, he has this, he could have this self-recognition, etc. But they don't have this empathy for others because they are they need other I don't know, other skills or something like that. Even if we have now AI systems with feeling, some robots, they know what that other are crying, for example, or but they cannot understand what does it mean crying. That human is crying. They don't understand that crying means also that we are in sadness. We have sad things or some things which is, for example, which makes us sad or something like that. They can identify that emotion, but they don't understand what does it mean emotion. So until we need to wait until 2013 to have this empathy, until the artificial intelligence will have empathy for others. And we have open project now in DARPA, in United States, in Canada, in other countries who are working and focusing on this goal. For self-recognition, we have it already. For example, Amica, the robot Amica, and other company for recognition. You can just Google this kind of videos, or I can share them with you. If you want now, we can, I think I can give a few minutes just to test this. I hope you can see it. How robots, they recognize themselves through this mirror test. Can you see the video?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can move to the other video with the robot Amica. She understands the emotion. She knows emotion, but she doesn't understand. I think it's a little bit, but she doesn't understand emotion. So here we find both self-recognition and emotion. Okay. Yeah. Usually during this process, we have 3 steps. The starting point usually is artificial intelligence, which means that we have machines have this single or few functions, artificial intelligence with self-awareness. Then we have this artificial generative intelligence, which is the second step, which means also that every aspect of recognition had reached human level, artificial intelligence with cognitive empathy, theory of mind, and then we will have in the future this third step, super intelligence, which means that every aspect of cognition has surpassed human level, and artificial intelligence with emotional, but also with empathy. And in this period, human will be safe when we'll have this artificial intelligence with self-recognition, with emotional and with emotional empathy. Brain artificial intelligence was usually learning, and it continued to learn from human brain. How? With inspiration, with deep reinforcement learning, with this episodic memory, and with mental simulation, imagination, and imagination. The connecting points between AI and artificial intelligence and human intelligence is that both of them, they are trying to understand intelligence. And here we can say this interactions or interaction between both of them, between artificial intelligence and human intelligence, is between neuroscientists from one side and experts in cognitive science, and also in engineering and artificial intelligence. Neuroscience and cognitive science inspired artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence help and facilitates the work of neuroscientists and cognitive science. These interactions also continue in the second stage, and it will continue also in the third stage, I mean with artificial general intelligence benefiting from human intelligence and inspired from human intelligence. The common difference, the most important difference between artificial intelligence and human intelligence is, as I said before, human beings are learning from human experiences, but large machine models are learning from description of human experiences. About super intelligence, we have already one example in one experience in the history of artificial intelligence or artificial intelligence evolution process. I'm speaking here about AlphaGo, and this is also one of the most important risks when we have artificial intelligence which are superior than human intelligence, which could develop themselves more than human who created these tools. AlphaGo, as you know, it's an artificial intelligence system developed by human, of course, but he was superior than human who was who was expert in this kind of games, for example. So two risks linked to artificial intelligence here and artificial general intelligence. And here we ask the question, do we really need this technology? Or we can just try to not use it for a minimum for the moment until we have artificial general intelligence with self-recognition and emotional empathy. So we need to rethink our relation, which means that we need to rethink our relation with technology in general and with artificial general intelligence, because we have this risks, AI who could be superior than human intelligence, and this is a real risk. That much for twice during two experiences. Too much front of, human intelligence. It was two experiences between human intelligence and artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence was the winner in this both experiences, these two experiences. Why we need a regulation, artificial intelligence and law, and here the question about regulation, why we need a regulation. We need regulation because of the impacts of artificial intelligence, the good impacts, but also the bad impacts of artificial intelligence. And we have here, when we speak about the impacts, especially bad impact of artificial intelligence, we have several levels. We have negative impacts, considering also malicious use of artificial intelligence. We have challenges, we have risks and threats for security, international, national and international security, including also psychological security. Artificial intelligence is creating now a revolution in many levels. In notions, for example, international law notions, and for example, international security. We are observing now this transformation of international security in the age of artificial intelligence, considering also laws, lethal autonomous weapons, and the use of artificial intelligence in conflict resolution, the impact of artificial intelligence in political level, especially considering political changes, how artificial intelligence was used to create some political changes in some countries by other countries or other entities. How artificial intelligence is changing the meaning of democracy and democracy in general, and its impact, good impact, but also negative impact in several social sectors, education, culture, health, labor, etc. And also how artificial intelligence is changing industry and economy. And we have here some statistics. First of all, the global artificial intelligence markets from 2022 to 2027. In 2022, this global market intelligence, global artificial intelligence market was more than $26 billion, American dollars. And in 2027, this market forecast to grow at CAGR of 36.2%. Considering global autonomous weapons, also we saw a significant growth of this market from 13.3 billion in $2000 in 2022 to $19.75 billion in 2026. Competitors: United States, China, Russia, South Korea, European Union, and we have other states who are who participated to this race to lethal autonomous weapons and also to the use of artificial intelligence for military especially. But here I'm usually say that this war in Ukraine is a space of a new balance of power, ranging from geostrategic interests to technological sovereignty. And in this new balance of power is characterized by the race for military, yes, but also the race for artificial intelligence And when we say race to artificial intelligence, we have other parallel race in other levels. Innovation for innovation sovereignty, for creativity and innovation, race to revolution in education and higher education and scientific research, considering also the number of publication or the importance of this publishing efforts on artificial intelligence, and also this race to what we call now data sovereignty. And we cannot speak about artificial intelligence without considering the race to 5G. And here the leader is not United States, is China. Of course, when we consider the race to artificial intelligence, we have also this race to innovation. And here, as you can say, we have small difference between United States and China. The United States is the third country in the first group, a high group, and China is the first country in the second group, upper middle group in innovation. Why we need artificial intelligence? Because of course this risks imposed now by the use of artificial intelligence in military, especially the lethal autonomous weapons. And the risk is very high than when we than if we consider nuclear weapons. Why? Because for nuclear weapons, we know that the states who have nuclear weapons is not allowed to all actors in international society. Only states can have this product with small quantities. For lethal autonomous weapons, any group of terrorists needs is someone who experts on mathematics, on engineering, for example, and a computer. Some materials we can find easily in all markets. So here in this level, I mean artificial intelligence and law, we have two questions. The first one is the responsibility which cannot be transferred to machines. Human machines interaction should ensure compliance with law, but even here, when we consider this three level of autonomy given by Human Rights Watch, what Human Rights Watch call out of in the loop, on the loop, or out of the loop, with a high level of autonomy. Even with this high level of autonomy, when we will have it, it should be compliant with law. But the question here, how we can impose to the machine to respect international law, international humanitarian law. It's quite difficult. And that's why the responsibility cannot be transferred to machines. The second question is accountability, which requires operation of a system within a responsible chain of commands, considering these three levels presented by of autonomy presented by Human Rights Watch, autonomy with what they call in the loop, on the loop, or out of the loop. So how we can deal with these two questions, responsibility and accountability? in lethal autonomous weapons. If we take artificial intelligence and we put it in international law, especially international humanitarian law. We have these two questions. And the question here, do we have something to deal with this with these two questions, with this new situation, with this new era imposed by artificial intelligence? These tools who are changing also the types of wars, and we are seeing now also new types of arms and of weapons. Of course, new balance of power, and a new world order will be established after this war in Ukraine. What we have this Martin's clause and the laws of armed conflicts according to this Martin's clause, adopted also by the International Court of Justice. International law could be adapted to all evolution or evolutions linked to technologies or to artificial intelligence. And we have also Tallinn codes considered also by United Nations, which recognize that all international public law could be extended to cyberspace, considering that this cyberspace is a space which allow also the extension of our activities from the real space to this cyberspace. So we have these two mechanisms for now, waiting and looking for new mechanisms and international conventional mechanisms related to artificial intelligence and especially lethal autonomous weapons. And this is a solution, and this could be a solution, I mean, a non-proliferation mechanism and or a prohibition of artificial intelligence in war, in military. But still now there is no consensus between big states around these two solutions. Artificial intelligence and law, and usually considering this question, why we need regulation. We need regulation because of these changes or the use of artificial intelligence, and especially malicious use of artificial intelligence to create political changes, to influence public opinion, for example, because artificial intelligence is used now to influence all the information media are using and are taken from society. Society produce information and data, and before media use this data and this information, artificial intelligence are influencing all the information and all the data produced by society in general, individuals, NGO, governments, etc. They suggest to us and also to journalists informations. They suggest to us some events. Sometimes we find that when we are searching some information, Google or other platforms are suggesting to us special information, and not all. I can have access to some information through Google, and another person from another place, if he is searching for the same information, he can find other things, or Google can suggest to him other informations about the same topics. So artificial intelligence is used for spatial cognition, big data analysis, and image analysis. And we should consider here this interaction between media and artificial intelligence before the production of the content used by the end by viewers, who could be individual, NGO, company, governments, etc. And here we should also consider all this malicious use of artificial intelligence, deep fake videos, fake faces, etc. And we should consider here that we, in this interaction between AI and the media, we should consider and its impact on the influence of public opinion. We should consider here the power of the image, not only small information, written information, but the power of the image to influence public opinion or to guide public opinion to one topic, to one point of view, and not to the other one. Here we have this video, fake video, created by students in Stanford University, which show.
I'm thinking about my full-time employees and their ability to survive on $8 an hour in New York City. And foremost in all of our minds has been the loss and the grief felt by the people of Orlando. Most of us don't get our health care through the marketplace, through our job, or through Medicare or Medicaid. And what you should know is that thanks to the Affordable Care Act, your coverage is better today than it was before. Women can get free checkups. You can't get charged more just for being a woman. If these employees move together to pass a common bill that would boost America's very, very hard times. Some progress, at least within the small confines of the legal community. I think it's real important. Here we go. President Barack Obama. When you're giving a speech, make sure you use a lot of pauses.
And here, as you saw, that with artificial intelligence or artificial intelligence systems allow person to put any words in the mouth of any person. And this could create the tensions between countries and between politicians, for example, and other actors inside our society, our societies or outside societies, I mean in international society. As you saw in the video, the person who developed, who contributed to the creation of this AI system is a young man. As to this approach, these two approaches we have. The first one is American, but also Chinese, which I mean, they consider the regulation as limits to innovation, and they even United States and China are or prefers regulates AI after innovation and after the use of innovation in society with, and they are working in a regulation with small differences, of course, between United States and China. United States are working on regulation with scientists, especially with scientists, but also with companies. In China, China is working on regulation with, especially with companies. But both of them, they choose to regulate after innovation and after the use of innovation in society. And they are why? Because this leads us to another question concerning when we should regulate: before innovation, after or after innovation. I mean the appearance of AI system, or after the implementation of or the use of artificial intelligence system by society. And our answer here is important because it could limit, if it's before innovation, it could limit innovation itself. Who innovates? As we saw in this video, only young people. Why young people? Because they have this spirit of risk, not like old persons who have them jobs and them families, and they have other calculations. Teenagers and young people, they have this spirit of risk, which is important for creativity and for innovation. That's why these two approaches, American and Chinese, they promote innovation and they promote these young people, and they invest a lot on young people, on young researchers and students, even from teenagers, I mean. European approach, let's say Western approach, they are usually regulating, especially if we take the example of the European Union, they are regulating every time, and only legislative institutions who are regulating, who are creating this, who are creating these rules and regulation. They are working themselves, only, I mean, legislative institutions. They are not open to other actors like academia and companies. That's why now, if we take the top 10 companies in artificial intelligence in the world, we will not find a company, an European company, only Chinese and United States companies. I'm trying to return back to the other slide, but yes. Now, usually trying to ask why we need this regulation, because also of the impacts of the artificial intelligence on different social sectors, like labor markets, how artificial intelligence is changing this labor market, and this transformation, of course, will say the appearance of new jobs, and several jobs will disappear, and we need new strategies to, of course, give new skills or offer new skills to the students who are now studying in the universities in the world. Now, I mean, it's a global issue, not only an issue which have in some society, but it's a global issue. For health and security also, artificial intelligence is changing this health market, healthcare markets, and it's changing healthcare services. And here also we have the question of responsibility, how we can delegate the responsibility to artificial intelligence system in medicine. In fact, this question we have it in law and in medicine. In medicine, because in some levels we should not delegate the responsibility to the machine. We need the responsibility of human, and we need the use of machines under the control of human, of the doctors. And in law, thinking about this legal AI, some experts are now speaking about an important impact of artificial intelligence, which means that we could have two kinds of justice. Justice for all people, let's say for poor people, and another made by artificial intelligence, by what we call legal AI, legal lawyer, legal AI lawyer, AI judge, and another justice for other people, rich people, made by human lawyer and human judge. So for law, it will be quite difficult, a minimum for the moment, to delegate responsibility to artificial intelligence, and we should keep the control of artificial intelligence as a human in this sector to ensure justice. Because what? Because we need a lawyer and a judge who has this empathy for others and who can adapt law, the spirit of law, who can apply not only the text, not only the law, but the spirit of law in all. Also, artificial intelligence is creating a revolution in education, and we have the investment of related to AI in education will be more than $6 billion in 2025. Here, as you can see, we have the use of artificial intelligence and the growth in advanced technology expenditure. For example, for augmented reality and virtual reality, which will be more than $12 billion in 2025. The use of AI will reach more than $6 billion in 2025. Robotic, more than $3 billion in 2025, only in education, which means that we need to rethink our educational systems, considering that now we saw in several speeches of several heads of countries, they are speaking about technological sovereignty. And technological sovereignty depends on several types of sovereignty. First of all, innovation sovereignty, cyberspace sovereignty, data sovereignty, but also educational sovereignty and language sovereignty. As you can see here in the picture, sorry for the text in Arabic. In this text, I'm speaking about the number of jobs which will be replaced by robots in Morocco, especially in education in Morocco in 2013. More than 800 jobs in education will be replaced by the robots. More than 51% of jobs, according to McKinsey Institute, will be replaced by, in education, will be replaced by robots in both private and public sector. And here, as you can see, Dana 48 is the first teacher, the first professor, AI professor, robot, who gives who gave a course about philosophy. Do we have regulation? What is the state of regulation in the world? First of all, considering countries' efforts on regulation governing the use of artificial general intelligence, especially ChatGPT. And after this deep, if you want, debate created by ChatGPT, we have some countries like planning regulations throughout several institutions, depends of every country has a special institution who is planning regulations related to ChatGPT and HEI. We have other countries like United States, Japan, Austria, who are seeking input on regulations. And here, for example, United States, Biden administration with science and technology advisors are working and are seeking input on regulations. We have other countries who are who banned artificial ChatGPT, but after lifted ban, like for example, Ireland and Italy, and other countries like Spain and France, who are investigating possible breaches. Privacy watchdog, what we call in French, like NIL. We have other countries with artificial national plan, artificial intelligence national plan, or strategies, or with only initiatives. As you can see here, the countries with artificial national strategy: Austria, Canada, China, UK, Denmark, Finland, etc. And others with only some initiatives like Austria, Brazil, India, Iran, Morocco, New Zealand, Russia, etc., Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Spain, Tunisia, etc. So, but still we think that only artificial intelligence national strategies could ensure to countries to deal with this, to take all the advantage from artificial intelligence and to reduce its negative impacts. Now, what about ethics of artificial intelligence? So I explained artificial intelligence, this evolution process inspired by human brain, and this projects and collaboration between neuroscientists and cognitive scientists and also engineers. We take artificial intelligence and we put it in law, in regulation, when we should regulate, why we should regulate, and how, with national strategy, which means also legal framework, financial framework, and bodies or institutions, or only with small initiatives depend on the countries. Now, what about ethics? What does it mean, ethics, first of all? Ethics is a set of values, principles, and techniques that employ widely accepted and based on human rights framework, on international human rights framework, and based on international law in general, with all branches of international law. And this these values and principles should be accepted and widely accepted. And these values and principles should show us what is the rights and the wrong, and should guide moral conduct in the development and the use of artificial intelligence. And this is the definition made by Alan Turing in 2019. We have several mechanisms concerning ethics of artificial intelligence, several regional instruments, in fact, and one international instrument. For regional instruments, we have OECD, Principles on Artificial Intelligence in 2019. We have the OECD Recommendation on Artificial Intelligence, G20 AI Principles in June. We have also World Economic Forum issues 10 AI governance procurement guidelines in September 2019, European Union, and we have one international instrument, which is UNESCO recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence, adopted in November 2021, with also elaborated by a group of experts with the participation of experts also from Russia. What are the bases of ethical AI framework? Ethical AI framework, governance ethical framework, which should be based on values and principles. Values especially should respect others, and the machine should respect others. Connect with others, which means communication, good communication with others, positive communication with others, to have this good understanding and common understanding of rules, of principles, values, etc., goals, etc. We, as a value, we have also care. Machines should care about others. We have protection. Machines or AI systems should protect human rights and others. As principles, we have accountability, sustainability, and transparency. And all these values and principles are based on international law, international human rights law, international humanitarian law, and other is made by some companies. We have Google AI principles, IBM Google principles, etc. All governance framework should be based on these values and principles. Now, the recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence. The main points of discussion, we have values, principles, and policy actions. Of course, for values, we have universal values, human values, and ethical values, paragraph from 13 to 24. We have 10 principles based on international law, paragraph from 25 to 47, and we have 11 policy actions, which are in fact a kind of a roadmap. And I'm speaking here about the paragraph from the paragraph 48 to paragraph 130. Areas of policy actions. Usually, I'm speaking here about the recommendation on ethics of artificial intelligence adopted by UNESCO in 2021. We have ethical impact assessment, ethical governance and stewardship, data policy development, and international cooperation. And here I think that also artificial intelligence imposes new challenges too, and changes on diplomacy, and diplomats should focus more on international cooperation on artificial intelligence and on ethics of artificial intelligence. Another area of policy action is environment and ecosystem, gender, culture, education and research, communication and information, economy and labor, and health and social well-being. And as I said before, these policy actions are a kind of roadmap which could guide work inside countries, of course, considering the specificity of every country and the priorities inside every country. and but it could facilitate work for countries who are thinking on AI national strategy. So just in this recommendation, we have also some possible mechanisms to observe the implementation of the recommendation by countries, some monitoring or to ensure monitoring and evaluation, such ethics commission, AI ethics observatory, or repository covering human rights, compliance, and ethical development of AI systems. As a conclusion, ethical AI for all in the future. How we can ensure ethical artificial intelligence for all in the future, considering that in the future, the 3 steps of artificial intelligence. In the future, we will have super intelligence system, but we will need ethics to understand not only, or if now we need ethics to understand our human relation, human interaction with machines. In the future, we will need ethics to understand interaction between machine and human. And we will need ethics to understand the interaction between machine and the environment, machines between machines, and the interaction between machines and artificial and humans. For that, we need new agreements between citizens and governments to ensure rights and well-being in 2014. And we need this collaboration between governments, academia, and companies, considering that companies are monopolizing artificial intelligence innovations, and companies, or the goal of companies, is profits, but only states, this legal entity named states, could ensure the protection of human rights. Even if states also, this entity, I'm not speaking about, I'm speaking about any states, about states as a legal entity. Its goal is the power, but also this power should be used to ensure human rights. This ultimate goal of states, which is individual well-being. So how we can create balance between companies who own artificial intelligence, who create innovation, and states who is using AI for power, who can create this balance to ensure human rights for individual, which is also, because when we speak about power, this power is inspired, it's based on what we call election game. So that's why even this legal entity, even states, its own its principle, its first goal is to ensure security in large sense to citizens. But to ensure this, it should thank its relation with companies. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Fatima. for your quite entertainment and big presentation, yeah, and quite informative one. Sergey Gennadьевич, could you tell us your opinion and your revision about this topic, and then other colleagues may present questions and comments.
Well, I think that there are not so much interpretation needed or even comments, because Fatima gave quite a good observation of the discussions and the current status of problems concerning ethics and governing the artificial intelligence. So I maybe would like to ask a couple of questions concerning the topic. First question is about the contradiction maybe between the technological optimism, which we can see, for example, in Russia concerning artificial intelligence, and not only artificial intelligence, and also other computer-based technologies. And at the same time, we see some concerns about the power, technological power. Who has this power now? Who can influence on the usage of artificial intelligence? Who is really making decisions that are made concerning the technology? This is my first question. How this contradiction can be, well, it can be solved, and so on. And the second question is about the research field, because we see that in social research, artificial intelligence is widely used. And for example, we see cases that people use this technology, for example, to make questionnaires, fake questionnaires, not filled by respondents by the computer. And this is a big trouble, as with everything. And also we see that ChatGPT and some other technologies are helping to make some research, secondary research of data, and finding relevant text, and so on and so on. Maybe you can tell some other trends in this sphere concerning the research industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sergey. For the first question, who own this technology, it's quite difficult to say that this country or the other one own this technology, because, as I said before, to understand this race to artificial intelligence, we need to consider the race to in other levels. Well, the first investors in artificial intelligence we have in public investment United States, and in private, in private investment we have United States, who is the first countries investing in artificial intelligence, considering also that the big companies on technologies are American companies. But China is the first is leading the global public investment in artificial intelligence. So if we have United States in the global as a leader of the global private investments in artificial intelligence, China is the leader in the global investments, public investments in artificial intelligence. We have China, who is leading 5G. For innovation, we have small differences between United States and China, but the leader are other countries in innovation, not China, not United States. We have in little autonomous weapons, we have other powerful states. But here also we have countries, but also companies. We should consider companies because we have two cases where the states are working with companies, like United States with private sectors, or public companies, like the case of China. But we have also other countries. We have Russia, for example, for little autonomous weapons. We have Israel. We have other European Union, some countries in the European Union. So it's quite difficult. That's why, for me, I consider that we are now in multipolar world order, and this balance of power ranging in this Ukraine war between Western countries and between West and Russia, it's also a space for new balance of power, and those countries who will let's say not win the war. All countries, they will be winner in 1% and loser in other levels. So, but states who will govern the wars after this Ukraine war will be, we will not have one state, but we will have a lot of states. We will be in a multipolar world order. Every state is powerful in something. So it's quite difficult to say that this one own this technologies now. Technology is something which could not be owned only by one country. So I hope it's a good answer to your first question. The second question was about what? Can you just?
The second question, thank you, Fatima, for the answer. And the second question was about usage of artificial intelligence, for instance, ChatGPT as a very popular tool in research industry.
Yes, for research, I'm very impressed by how Russia is investing in research on social science related to artificial intelligence. Why? Because we need more research in this level to understand well our relation with AI, how we are using artificial intelligence. We cannot take a lot of advantage from artificial intelligence, and we cannot be able to face all the challenges imposed and the risks imposed by artificial intelligence if we don't understand our interactions with machines. And to understand this, we need a lot of work on social science, philosophy, history, literature, languages, etc. Yes, we need engineers, but we need also to invest more on this other scientific specialities. I think that for ChatGPT, we can use it for scientific research, but with respect of ethics in scientific research. So, for example, countries where we say that there is no respect of ethical values in scientific research, for me, I prefer to ban ChatGPT. But for countries who who have a good legal framework, and researchers are used to respect ethical values in scientific research, they could, of course, use this technology, which is good, that it could facilitate research for the researcher. So, but still we need more work, not only on ethical values related to AI, but also to science. Because now with AI, since 2020, the beginning of this pandemic, which accelerated the use of artificial intelligence, we are observing this that also what we call fake science is taking more and more space instead of a real science. And fake scientists are taking more place instead of real scientists. I mean by real scientists, those who are respecting, of course, ethical values and who are doing good scientific research. So I think, yes, we should be careful. It's depends every state and the reality inside every state. And we should consider both ethics for AI and ethics for science.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Fatima. If there are any comments in the real talk, we have comments from Violeta Habibulina. Yeah, do you see them on the chat? So we a little bit missed your affiliation at the first start of presentation. Could you tell us a little bit which university you're from and which department you're working now? So, and there are also two questions. So if you want, I can read them, or you can read and answer them. We have several questions in the chat. Could you tell firstly a little bit about your affiliation, where you're working now, and which university you're from? And there are also two questions about agreements, and Violeta asks your contacts for the mail that you can send the presentation for her.
Yes.
And also, I can add some comments. During your presentation, we saw that there are no Russian strategy about AI development. I suppose we have one from 2019, and there are some special order from president. I can Google it, and there are some information on the Russian language. So maybe internationally there are no some information about our activities in artificial intelligence, but I suppose the Russia are actively developing such sphere also. So I can send the.
Let me answer the first questions, and then first of all, for my work and affiliation, and I'm a professor of international law, international economic law. I'm teaching also international relations and international organizations in the Faculty of Law, University Mohammed V. And also I'm president of the International Institute of Scientific Research. And I have several activities with some groups of experts in UNESCO, in ITU, etc. And with Sergey and other colleagues from Russia and from other countries, we created 2 years ago the global network on artificial intelligence and international society. The second question was about the, Russian initiative or Russian AI strategy. The information I shared with you was based on the table, was based on several references, but especially the most important reference is the reports made by OECD containing countries who have this national AI national strategies, or those who have only initiatives like Russia and Morocco. But I would like to learn more about Russia. If you have an AI national strategy, I will be more than happy to know more, to learn more about this strategy and to integrate it in my research. But the references I found, they are spoken only about Russian initiatives, bodies, projects, some funding dedicated for this projects or for this institution, something like that. Yeah. For the presentation, I can share it with you, of course. And for my contacts, maybe Sergey would share with you my contacts, my email, or I can write it to you now here in the chats.
If it's possible, yeah, it will be, I guess, easier. And there are another one, the last, I guess, question from Violeta. Who and when have decided about the new agreements about in the 2040s, 2050s? Could you tell us about maybe the procedure, as I understand? So that's is it? So I just read it, yeah.
Okay, I will say with me. So for your discussion, connection of AI ethics with human rights declaration of etc. is clear. However, for the same time, many your statement looks like it's given to the situation.
So
well, if I understand well the question, the comments, if I understand well, my
you can
I shared with you is yes, not looks like your statement looks like wishful. No, I cannot say this. Not I gave some not suggestion what we should do. I'm thinking, I'm contributing to this global debate, what we can do to face these challenges. What are the possible solutions? Not only wishes, but what are the possible solutions? Because we are here front of new challenges. We never faced it before. So I cannot say we have this, we have this. Yes, we have some tools like Tallinn Code, like this Martin's Clause. We have other legislation in every country. We have this national framework, legal framework, but also we need to create other instruments inside countries and in the global era, in international society. No, they are not only wishes. I'm trying to contribute to this debate and to suggest possible solutions, which could be, of course, reinforced by other experts in other fields. So not only the wishes, no. We are facing a new situation and we are trying to give the possible solution to this situation, considering statistics, considering specificities, specificity of this international society, what are this balance of power which influence decision inside international institutions, considering who are the actors who are monopolizing and who have this final word in artificial intelligence era, I mean big companies, etc. So we take all this front of us on the table, and we have the background, the history. If we say we review also the history, if we can find some similar experiences from what we could learn something to give a response to this new situation we are facing. So it's like that in international relations. We consider the history, the last or previous experiences, and we consider what we have now on the table. We have some powerful states. Some of them, they are investing, they are later on private investments. Others are later on public investment. We have companies which we cannot neglect, and we have other actors, individuals, this powerful also actor using social media and artificial intelligence included in social media. So we put all this front of us. We have geostrategic interests, and we say what we can do together. What I mean by together, all actors in international society and also all sectors. This multidisciplinary approach, considering also multidisciplinary, multi-sectorial approach and gender approach, gender in a large sense. Not only equality between men and women, but also indigenous people, also kids, also old person, etc. So no, not only a wish, but of course we need a lot of work in different level, legal level, public policies, funding, international cooperation also. And we need the inclusion of all, since the head of states, diplomats who should review them function, aims and goal, and also the simple or let's say the last individual in our society. So we need the inclusion of all to give the real and the good response to all these challenges.
Thank you, Fatima. So that's a quite discussion about the Russia, but I suppose so you quite have a little information what it's happening now, like in this sphere. So it's up to you to answer this question. If there are any
for Russia, I don't have a lot of information, considering that I don't know Russian language, and I think it's a challenge for all international scientists. We have about Russia what we have in English, not in Russian. So I think I prefer to not answer this question because I don't have a lot of ideas about it.
So that's big thank you for your answers. So dear colleagues, I suppose we can close our seminar. Sergey Gennadьевич, do you want to say something? I want to say thank you for Fatima for your quite a long talk, and it was quite interesting to hear it.
Let me just react to the last comments concerning international rules, and they usually give me these comments, and I usually give this response. Yes, big powers neglect and ignore international rules, for sure. They have, and this is one of the principal let's say, areas of realism in international relations, but still international law and international rules are the only things poor countries like Palestine, like other small countries, have to defend them rights. It's the only things. These countries have to defend them rights of existence as states and of security in a large sense. In a small sense, which means the protection of the border, the protection of territory, and in a large sense, even social security, the right to have a job, the right to have a good education, etc. So we should not forget that international law, even considering all the defects, all the weaknesses this international law have, it's the only things poor country have to defend their rights of existence before we speak about other things.
Thank you for your speech.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatima, and for your presentation, and for your answers, and for everyone participating in this discussion. I suppose it was fruitful, and we will be glad to continue it.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, Violeta, for your last comments. Yeah, I mean, to know more, to have the deep information by, of course, last years I had a lot of work with the Russian universities, different Russian universities, and I have a lot of information, but I mean deep information about strategies, about legal framework, etc. Yeah, still some information I cannot have because of the language. Thank you so much.
Thank you, colleagues. So we should,